Good afternoon, everyone. Jason here to talk to you today about the andragogical approach to learning. So I want to talk to you guys today about the primary assumptions that come along with an andragogical method of teaching or creating course curriculum. Before we begin with that though, I want to talk to you about the counterpart to andragogy, which is pedagogy. So pedagogy is the way that all of us learned when we were in school. It's the way that many of our children are still learning in school. Andragogy is a little bit different approach though, because as you know, the adult learner is different. We are not the same as we were when we were children learning simple mathematics. We are different because we have experiences, because we have different goals in life. So there are 6 key assumptions when it comes to the andragogical method. So those key assumptions are really what are going to shape the framework of our curriculum when we are dealing with adults as the learners. So the first assumption that is discussed is the learners need to know. So when dealing with adults, they need to know, why do I need to know this information? Adults need to understand, what is the benefit? What is it going to do to improve my life or improve my overall well-being? So when dealing with teaching adults, you need to take an understanding and really take a look at, why do they need to know this information? Okay? That's the first assumption. The next assumption is the learner's self-concept. Adult learners need to feel as though they have a choice, that they are in control of the direction of their learning. Adult learners need to feel as though they are a part of the learning. So that is very different from children, right? Children understand that you need to learn simply because that is what is required. In our society, you're required to go to school. You're required to learn the basics. So as adults, we need to have a little bit more of a stake in the game, if you will. The next assumption is the role of the learner's experiences. So a learner's experience can really change the way in which they understand the information that you're presenting to them. A learner's experience can help them build upon the information you're sharing with them, or it can potentially cloud or confuse the message you are trying to deliver. So when you are creating lessons with an andragogical approach in mind, you need to make sure that you consider the experiences of the learners and how those experiences can really make a difference on the overall outcomes of your lesson. Remember, it's important to build upon the experiences of each individual in class. Never diminish someone's willingness to share or their willingness to give insight or share their experiences. The learner's readiness to learn. In order to effectively learn, learners need to be ready to learn. And the information needs to be presented at a time when it is most advantageous for the learner. This means that you need to ensure that your curriculum aligns with where your learners are in life. For example, teaching someone how to apply for a job when they just graduated high school is a perfect time to teach them that skill. Teaching someone how to apply for a job after they've been in the workforce for 20 years is probably not the best time to teach them that skill. When taking an andragogical approach, you want to make sure that you are teaching the information when it is most relevant to the learner. Next is the learner's orientation to learning. Adults are orientated to learning new information based on the reason why they need the information. This means that special care needs to be taken when designing curriculum to ensure it is laid out in a way that will allow the learner to easily see how this information can be used. One way of doing this is to engage the learners in a discussion asking how they will use the information at the end of a lesson, allowing them to store it in the appropriate folders in their mind so that they can readily access that information when it's needed. Next, it's the learner's motivation. This assumption is key because while many adult learners can be motivated by external factors, the most effective form of motivation comes from within the learner. It's important when creating curriculum that you develop ways to motivate the learners both internally and externally. They need to understand the benefit, and they need to want to learn or complete the course. So these 6 assumptions really sum up the andragogical approach to learning. In my final video, I plan to teach these assumptions along with the andragogical model to my fellow peers and the Learning and Development team at the Customer Care Center for L brands. So I'm going to take these different assumptions and really embed them throughout the lesson. Once the lesson has been taken by my peers, I'm going to ask them if they could tell where I embedded each one of these assumptions and the other portions of the andragogical model into the lesson. So I hope that helps you, and I hope you have a better understanding of the andragogical approach. As always, feel free to see me with additional questions. Thanks, guys.